I have the gown. I'm on this table. She steps on a foot pedal, and the table goes zzz. So now all my shit is even closer to them. I'm on a platform. Remember like fucking Frankenstein in the movie? It's alive! It raises up so it can get the electricity. That's me. Okay, so here we are. Welcome to what is the first version of the new Sam the Cooking Guy podcast. I say the first version of the new because we did it. Look, when we first got on YouTube, it was essentially a live podcast. We talked, and then we cooked. And it was anywhere from a half an hour to an hour and a half. And
try 2 hours.
2 hours sometimes?
Sometimes 2 plus.
And it turned out that the people did not give a shit about watching live. People want to watch when they want to watch. And the fact that, you know, we stopped our world at 5 p.m. on a Thursday and went live didn't really matter to anybody. People didn't give a fuck about that. They want to be in bed at 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning watching it. So why were we going to all this extra effort to do a live thing? We don't know. And then we fully got away from that. And what you now see as Sam the Cooking Guy YouTube channel is what it's become. That being said, we keep getting asked about a podcast. And I've had the opportunity to meet a handful of you recently. And we've talked about it, and people say it would be cool. And in my mind, the reason to do this is not to cook again live, because that's the normal thing, but really to talk food, answer questions, and get off my chest, that kind of thing. I mean, I'm not going to talk about completely random stuff. Actually, that's not true, because I will share... I started to tell Max. Max goes, no, just save it. You know, I've had a kidney stone thing. Well, this is Saturday. We're recording this May 25th. 2 days ago, Thursday morning, I had the most traumatic moment of my life. And I am not exaggerating. Most traumatic. I'm fortunate that I have not had any horrible medical things happen to the people that I love, that kind of stuff, which would be clearly bigger trauma.
Just pull that mic down a little bit.
Pull it down a bit?
A little bit, yes.
But I like it. I like it. I like being there. So I will share that story. And I think we need to put a little warning across the bottom of the screen that I'm talking about something potentially hugely gross for people.
Do you know what they call that?
What do they call that?
It's called a trigger warning.
A trigger warning? We should put a trigger warning. And we put a trigger warning in the shape of a penis. Oh, my God. It's awful. It's awful. So, look, we will get to the point where there is an easy way for you to ask us questions via Skype, right?
Yeah, you're talking about phone calls.
Phone calls.
People
call in. We want to do that. I like talking to people. If you ask my wife, Kelly, what I do for a living, she says he just talks and talks and talks. But when I'm in a group setting, some kind of event, and I'm presenting or I'm cooking or whatever, it always gets to that kind of thing where it's just a straight question and answer, and how do I do this, and if I was going to cook that kind of thing, and I love doing that. So I want that to be a big part of this.
We get so many questions that we're not able to answer.
We get so many questions.
So many comments, so many tweets.
What are our average comment numbers on a
probably 2,000, 3,000 comments in the first day or two.
Right,
so
per episode.
It's a lot.
In the first couple of days. It's crazy, and we try to answer, and we just can't. It's not like we're going to be able to go through 2,000 this way. But the benefit of this is that when one person asks, like you may ask a question on YouTube in a comment, and I could respond to it. But unless everybody's checking every single freaking comment, the other people won't get the benefit of that. Here, if you say to me, hey, I want to cook a steak, any suggestions, or can I do this or can I do that? I can answer here, and then everybody can get that. And I say it all the time, you know. My shit is about making people's food life better. And hopefully when you watch the episodes, be entertained at the same time. That's the goal. You're learning, but not in like a school boring kind of way. Right? That's the thing. It's all I ever really wanted to do when we started this, and that's what's happening now. And I can't tell you the number of people that come up and say, I now cook because of you. And that makes me just the happiest kid in the planet. So stay tuned to us telling you how you can become part of this, how you can ask questions. I suppose it's as simple, Max, even times as us going through the comments, pulling out some great questions and then answering them.
That's a great point.
We should do that.
Absolutely.
But so here we are on the heels of Memorial Day tomorrow. We've intentionally posted this on Sunday when we don't normally post. We'll have to think about what day we will post these because we're still going to stick to our Monday, Wednesday, Friday regular video schedule, upload schedule.
Yeah, I think that's important to differentiate because this is not necessarily going to take the place of a 3 times weekly episode. It's going to be supplemental, more.
Supplemental. That being
More
said,
content.
we're taking the day off tomorrow. We're allowed.
Maybe I should just apologize to everybody in advance for talking.
No, you are going to get shit on. There's no question.
Probably. It happens.
But look, if I get shit on for stuff that I do, would you expect not to get shit on?
No, you're right. That's a good point.
No, I like having somebody to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
It works for me, and so if people hate it, then here's a suggestion, then don't f***ing watch.
There you go. I don't even know if you'd be able to tell this next story into the void anyway.
No, it needs some response.
Yes.
It really does. Yes. So, okay, so we thought we're taking Memorial Day off. You're watching this, if you're watching this the day before, it's Sunday, and we wanted to just chat Memorial Day food a little bit so you'd have an idea the day before. What good is it giving you information 2 o'clock on the Memorial Day because then you're already up to your elbows in whatever you're going to do. You've already made your decision. So my advice is simple. I'll talk about a couple things, but my advice is simple. This is not necessarily in my mind about making a burger or a dog. I think because you can always do that. I think holidays are a little bit more special. But in terms of entertaining, in terms of what you might do on Memorial Day, I'm hoping you're with a group of people. And it's always better in a group because people bring their specialties and then you don't have to make everything. And who wants to do that? But I think in terms of larger format cooking, and what do I mean by that? I mean not making a burger, but making like a bunch of ribs. Not making a chicken wing or two, but cooking like a whole chicken or two. Not a piece of salmon, but like a whole side of salmon. So I'm going to just give you a couple ideas for that kind of stuff.
By the way, that whole chicken was so f***ing good.
That whole chicken, so we did a whole fried chicken, and when I explained to people before I did it what I was going to do, they go, oh, like a deep fried turkey at Thanksgiving. I said, no, the difference is, like chicken and waffles, that kind of fried chicken. Crunchy, the outside, the texture. They go, oh, yes. I go, so that, but the whole chicken. It was really good. In fact, I had some, 2 days later, it was still moist and tender as anything.
That's the thing. It was so juicy.
Damn it.
Ridiculously.
Damn it.
People always complain about dried chicken. This thing was next level.
Breast.
I do get to eat, by the way.
Oh,
I do eat the
it's
food.
funny, people
just
ask
'cause
that.
It's not on camera. I do
Yeah,
eat.
that's a question that gets asked a lot. You eat all that food? I go, no. How could I eat all that food? I have a couple bites. Generally, what you see me take, that's what I eat. I think there will be a lot of questions, Max, about the process, how we shoot, how long it takes, how we set up, what we use, that kind of stuff. People are curious about that.
And I think that's why you want to bring some people here, don't you?
We are going
Just to throw a little tease out there.
We are. Okay, so wait, somebody came into Not Tacos, my restaurant here in San Diego the other day, said, I have some questions. And I'm sorry I can't remember his name. He's a gamer. He's 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. And he wanted advice on like how to grow his channel. And I go, I can't help you. I don't know anything about gaming at all. But so as we started to talk, it became clear that maybe you could give him some advice on technical things that he could do to help that. But so I know people will have questions. There's always process questions. As long as I've been on TV, people have asked, how do you shoot? What time do you, how do you do this? That kind of thing anyway. So like even the food question, who eats the food and who cleans up? I clean up, by the way. I'll just tell you that. I've always cleaned up. I think maybe 5 or 6 times in my entire career, I've had somebody there to clean. But it generally, it's always me. I don't know why, but okay. So large format food, Memorial Day. Here are the areas I'll talk about. Chicken. Cook a whole f***ing chicken. Cook a whole effing chicken. Why? Because you can. Because it's not complicated. And because it's impressive as F. It really is. The technique I'm going to have you use is called spatchcocking. And it sounds complicated. And all it means is you literally cut the backbone out of the chicken. You take kitchen shears. We did this in a video, Max. You can put that.
Why don't I pull it up? There
you go. You can put that on the screen.
Yeah.
Look, you just take good kitchen shears. You cut down one side of the backbone, down the other side of the backbone. You remove that. You flip the chicken over. You put your hands, like, press down like you're giving it the kind of a flat Heimlich. It goes flat, and now it's going to cook beautifully for you. Beautifully. It's impressive as hell when you're done. And that is, it's not just the point, but I mean, come on. Like I tell people, don't make a beautiful pasta, you know, with all kinds of great things in it, and then put it on one of your kids' purple effing Barney plates. There's no, it's not a coincidence that restaurants use white plates. Because everything looks good on white. Everything looks good on a white plate. So think about, bringing an entire spatchcocked, weird word, but entire spatchcocked chicken on a platter to the table, or your friends coming over and you're grilling something badass like that. So watch the video. I won't go through the whole process now. I'm just trying to put something in your head so that you go, you know, Sam suggested that. I think it could be good. So. Yes, you could do chicken parts. You know, you want to do chicken parts, do chicken parts. But put something.
Do chicken parts. What do you mean?
Or you could cut up a chicken.
Oh, okay.
You could buy a bunch of breasts or wings or thighs. I buy thighs because I find them juicier. Kelly doesn't like them. A lot of people don't like thighs.
I'm a white meat guy.
Jilly doesn't like them. You don't like them. I like dark meat. It's just, I think it's better. I think most people think it's better. It's just the juvenile babies that don't like the dark meat, like these guys, so screw them. There's a recipe on the website, cookingguy.com, for like sriracha garlic butter wings or something. And I'm looking at the ingredients, and honestly, it's as simple as melted butter with sriracha in it, garlic cloves, and a bunch of cilantro. Mix that together. Start grilling your chicken parts. The wings, the thighs, the breasts, the legs, the whatever. And then as they're nearing being done, start painting on with this stuff. And it will be very good. Yes, you could go to the store. Oh, my back hurts. I can't.
You can do that. You can do whatever you want.
I can't get myself comfortable. Yes, you could go to the store and buy barbecue sauce. But really? Can you not do better than barbecue sauce? See that long look I gave you? The idea that you've got company, friends, family, loved ones over, and your whole move is chicken legs on the grill with barbecue sauce. And folks, we can up the game a little bit. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. What did I say? I said you want your food life to be better. I am going to tell you to use barbecue sauce in a minute, though, for something else. But for the chicken, you can just go find some recipes. Look on my website. Look at what we've done on YouTube. There's some interesting stuff out there. And spatchcocking is a really great way to do it. And don't be scared of it at all. Good kitchen shears. If you don't have good kitchen shears, use whatever kitchen scissors you've got. You do have to cut through some, bone and cartilage and shit like that. But don't be scared of it. It's simple. You saw it on the screen. Just do that. It's impressive and it's great. And then everything kind of cooks at the same time, so you're fine. So, so you can do, the pieces of chicken and stuff, but I don't think it's that impressive. Ribs. Yes, of course you can always do ribs, and probably should because they're so good. You will find on YouTube, or I'm going to tell you right now, how I cook ribs. I take baby back ribs or St. Louis style ribs or whatever from the store. You can flip them over so they're this way. You're looking at the concave parts.
Mm-hmm. The backside.
The backside of the ribs, right? They're not like that. They're like this. And there's this membrane that goes all the way across. It's a pain in the ass. You'll find a lot of cooks will tell you must remove that. I almost never do. So if you want to, you have to slip a knife under like one of the ribs at the end, the bone part, pull it up, and then with a paper towel, grab that little white membrane and just go.
I think we did it. We did that when we made the McRib because we had to create our perfect little thing.
Yeah, you're right. We did that.
But when we made the best ribs ever we did before that, we didn't do it.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter, so.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter at all. So if you want to do that, do that. Here's what I do. I take those ribs. I put them on a baking sheet. I put, a quarter cup of white vinegar in. Like, do a couple racks. Look, if you're going to cook, if there's two of you and you're going to make ribs for two of you, in a rack of ribs, there's about 15 ribs. You could eat 7 ribs, right? Probably anybody could.
Hell yes.
No
Your
problem.
Ribs? Yes.
So I say, cook once, eat a couple of times. If you're going to cook today ribs and there's only 2 of you, and you go, we're only going to want half a rack each, put 2 racks on. Cook 2 racks, save the second rack for all kinds of things tomorrow. They go on a baking sheet.
Rib sandwiches.
Oh, my God, a rib sandwich.
Rib quesadillas.
Rib quesadillas.
Rib grilled cheese. These are all things that he made in my childhood.
Wait, rib Benedict.
Rib Benedict.
You pull the meat off after rib Benedict.
Mm-hmm.
How about you buy store-bought pie dough? See, this is the thing that happens when I start talking about shit like this.
I know.
It just goes and goes and goes.
A little long-form content.
Pie dough. Think about it. Pie dough that you buy from the store, you can make it, of course. You cut it in circles. You take some of that rib meat. You put it in part of the circle. You put some Monterey Jack cheese, maybe some chili powder, whatever. Even if just those 2 things, a tiny bit of extra sauce, and you fold it up, it's now a rib empanada that you bake. Excuse me. Oh, God. They're like the best things ever. 2 racks on the baking sheet, quarter cup of oil, cover it with foil, 350-degree oven for 1 hour and 15 minutes. When it's done, like you wrap the foil tight. Take it out of the oven. Carefully lift the corner because there'll just be a ton of steam. Let the steam come off. Pour off all the what was left of the vinegar, but also fat that has melted off. And now you've got 2, 3, 4, 1, however many you've made, racks of perfectly cooked ribs. They're just ugly and need help. Now's when we're going to put them on the grill and finish them off. Or under the broiler. Or you want to throw in the smoker for a bit, you could do that, but they're cooked enough. So the recipe that I use, that's on the website. I think it's called Sticky Sweet Ribs. You combine barbecue sauce, and I just buy like the cheapest craft plain barbecue sauce I can get. I put Aunt Jemima pancake syrup in with that, brown sugar, and diced up chipotle peppers, and I mix all that. And now I take the ribs, and I put them face down, which would be convex now, right? What you would generally call the top of the ribs. Face down on the grill. See what just happened there? Jilly just got in trouble. And by the way, she's not my daughter. She's my daughter-in-law. Face down on the grill. We're giving them color. That's all you're doing at this point. Lots of color. You want the stripes and stuff. We haven't touched the sauce yet. Okay, so they're face down. When they've got good grill marks, flip it over. Now you start to baste with the sauce. And then turn them again. Give them another good a good face down so that this sauce starts to caramelize and burn in a little bit. You do the bottom side. Pick up. Now you've got ribs that when you take them off, they're super tender, delicious, almost falling apart, almost falling off the bone, and they're fantastic.
Almost falling off.
Falling off.
You pulled that bone right out in the McRib video.
That's true. That's true. If you don't want the traditional kind of barbecue sauce on ribs like that, there's a recipe on the site for an Alabama based sauce that's made with like white vinegar and mayonnaise. Crazy as it sounds, it's really delicious. Just look up Alabama. Here, I'll find it.
There it is on the screen, right there.
Oh yeah, there you go. You're looking at it. Okay, so make that, and you'll be very happy. So again, the large format. Let's talk salmon for a second. Let me just reach this. Hold on. And I'm going to suggest you do a cedar plank salmon. Look, salmon can be difficult to do straight on the grill because it sticks. You can use a basket. I don't like a basket. You can use. Have you seen those super thin mats that are like silicone? I never know. Is it silicone? Silicone. Is it Silicon Valley or Silicon? One is what? It's the opposite.
Silicone is
silicone
breast
breasts
implants or old breast implants, I believe.
So is
Silicon is Valley, Silicon Valley.
So
Actually, I think it's Silicon Valley.
But what is like a spatula? Silicone spatula?
Somebody's gonna have to school us.
And is that the same like breast thing?
You know what? I don't know. Plastic in the.
Hold on. Let me see if I can
God,
do this. Hold on. While we're sitting here, hold on.
We're such dummies.
Well, silicone rings, silicone baking mat, silicone. Oh God, it's silicone. And is that the same thing as breast? Now I have to know. Silicone.
I do believe it is. Yes.
Breast implants. Silicone, yes. Okay, so Silicon Valley, silicone spatulas. Anyway, there's a thin mat that they advertise on like late night TV, as seen on TV, that you can cook burgers on and steaks and nothing sticks and I don't like it because it doesn't feel like real grilling to me. But so what you want to do is salmon is tough. So here's what I do. This is a piece of untreated cedar. You can buy these from cookware stores, or you can do what I do. I go to a lumber yard. I buy a 6 foot. I think this is 6 inches. I don't know what that is. 6 foot tall piece of untreated cedar. I cut it into lengths that are about 2 feet. Because a side of salmon will fit in here. You take this, you put it in water. You weight it down so it doesn't float, stays under the water. Give it at least an hour. 2 hours is better. And what you're doing is you're waterlogging it so that it doesn't burn up instantly on the grill. And then when it's ready, then you're going to take your salmon. You're going to put it right on top of this. And whether there's skin on the bottom or not doesn't make any difference. In this case, you're going to put the salmon here. Going to put some kosher salt on it. We'll put the recipe there. I use a little Japanese mayo, a little sriracha, which is very nice, little fresh ground pepper, and then brown sugar over the top of the whole thing. So much brown sugar that you only see brown sugar, you don't see salmon anymore. And then that quickly goes right on the grill and shut the lid. Grill's on high. It's been heating up. Open the lid, put that on, shut the lid. And in about 12 minutes, and if you use a thermometer, you're going to pull it off around 125. You're going to have like the best freaking salmon ever. That serves a group of people really nicely. Large format. Do something different. Don't do the same shit all the time. And make my margaritas. Because they're really good, and you can make a giant ass pitcher of margaritas. And they're fantastic.
Let's put a warning out there. They're
Yeah.
very strong. They're very strong.
Yeah, my margaritas are really
Just
good,
beware.
but they're not like drinking. They don't, it's not like straight alcohol, so you think, oh, they're fine, and they're not fine. My manager's wife had to go home from your
My wedding
Your
party,
wedding
I think.
party here.
Yeah. They're dangerous.
We had a great party, and about an hour into it, I said, hey, where'd Tanya go? And he said, oh, I had to send her home in an Uber. I go, why? He goes, because she was shit-faced. I was warning her about your margaritas. Okay, so does that cover, I mean, look, if you're entertaining and you have people bring things, I always say this, be specific. You can't leave it up to people to be trusted to bring the right thing. I mean, look, you know which of your friends you can trust, but there's going to be people that you say, hey, will you bring something, and they'll show up with like some store-bought cookies. And
Tostitos and salsa.
I mean, seriously, honestly, you don't want that shit. So I say with people that cannot be trusted to bring the right food or decent food, you put them on alcohol. And again, be specific. Can you bring this make of whiskey? Can you bring this bourbon? Because they might just buy the worst stuff out there. By the way, speaking of bourbon, cherry bourbon lemonade is on the website and something that's perfect for Memorial Day, fun weather, decent weather kind of food. It's bourbon, it's lemonade, it's a little splash of cherry juice. Best thing ever. I don't know.
Do we have the ingredients?
No, we don't have the ingredients.
Damn, that would have been cool.
It would have been good. Yeah, sorry.
But
we'll
I
do that.
imagine that we can be making drinks, doing a little food.
Yeah,
cooking
yeah.
Stuff
We
in
could
the
do that.
future,
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so I feel like, look, I'm telling you, tell people to bring, but don't try and make everything yourself. Don't try and make everything yourself. What we haven't done is we haven't used really the smoker for any extended smoking time stuff. And we need to do that. So we'll start doing some of that stuff. It's
What
just
are we gonna
it's just
smoke?
a pork shoulder,
Yeah. What else?
a brisket.
Oh, brisket. Is
Yeah.
something we need to do.
It's really good. It's really good, but it's difficult. Generally when we shoot, it's like it takes us an hour-ish to shoot something. The briskets and the shoulders they're 12, 16 hours. It's tough. Going to start at one night, one afternoon, and finish it the next morning, kind of thing. Whatever, we'll figure it out.
It'd be cool to go out to like Austin and do barbecue type shooting.
Yeah. We got lots of. Oh, by the way, speaking of going someplace, we're going to.
Yeah.
Do you remember months ago? It was like November. We said if we had just completed a trip to London, and we did the top 10 things to eat in London. Top 10 things to eat in London, which were all great. And by the way, I met two Brits at Not Tacos yesterday that said everyone was right on, and they did not give me shit, unlike many people, for having a 37-pound full English breakfast at Hawksmoor, because Hawksmoor is one of their favorite restaurants.
There you go.
Yep.
The UK is our number 2
Audience.
audience.
Yeah.
Cue you whistling "God Save the Queen."
By the way, they did say we made one error in it.
Wow.
They said, yes, the Hawksmoor sticky toffee pudding, which we ended with, and I said is one of the greatest desserts I've ever eaten in my life. They said it is outstanding, but really what you should have had is their peanut butter shortbread
Oh man.
that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
Anyway, so right around that time we said to you guys, hey, if we were going to go shoot someplace in another city, country, wherever, where would you like us to go? And we got a list this long. And we shortened it to the top 3. And the top 3 were Dublin, Ireland, Mexico City, and Tokyo. And then we asked you to vote on those, and you voted Tokyo. And the end of June, we're going to Tokyo.
End of July.
End of July, we'll go to Tokyo. We're going to shoot in Tokyo for a few days. And then we'll go to Osaka because Osaka is a very different city. I mean, of course, it's different. It's another city. But
I think they say it's the bread basket. No, not the bread basket.
No, not.
The
But
kitchen. The kitchen.
it's like
something of
it's like the
Japan.
street food capital of the country, and arguably one of the most street food centric cities in the world. It's going to be fantastic. I've not been. I've been to Tokyo a couple times. Max has been. Jill has been. So Tokyo is going to be outstanding. Osaka is going to be great. But we're also going to do, which will be new for us, some travel review stuff as we go. Those videos seem to be popular these days. People reviewing, how they fly to a certain place and talking about the food and the seats and the airport lounges and shit like that. So we're going to do some of that. So if there's things that you want to know, that kind of junk, then please let us know that too. But now I will completely digress and talk about my kidney stones because I have to get it off my chest. Yeah. So look, I had kidney stones 20 years ago. I'm going to try and shorten everything up to Thursday. I had kidney stones 20 years ago. It was horrifying. They say it's like in terms of pain, the equivalent of like male childbirth, or the equivalent of childbirth for a guy. And every time I've made that suggestion in front of a group of women, they've all gone, "No, it's not. Nothing compares to childbirth." So it's not. It just hurts like crazy. It's awful pain. And that stone 20 years ago was large enough that they did something called lithotripsy, which is blast it with sound waves. Nothing invasive.
Just blasting you with a laser. Nothing invasive.
No. Sound waves. You lay on a table and the kidney is exposed by a hole in the table and it gets 10,000 sound wave, boom, 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 10,000 sound wave blasts. And presumably it's, it breaks it up and then you just pee dust. Maybe you need that. What did you call that thing on the screen? To warn
the
people.
Trigger warning.
The trigger warning. Maybe you should put that because it's going to start getting,
Yes.
it could potentially get gross quick.
Yes.
So that was 20 years ago. November, it happened again. Another kidney stone. Fortunately, this time, it wasn't large enough. I had to pass it. And I'll tell you this. When you hear passing a stone is horribly painful, it's horribly painful, but it's not the actual stone exiting your body. And you know there's only one way it comes out of a guy. It wasn't that was so painful. It was the hour before I passed it. The need to urinate is frequent, like every 10 minutes. And the second you finish peeing, that's when it's like someone's taking a short, dull knife with barbs on it and stabbing you all in your lower abdomen. The pain was awful. I passed it. It was fine. And then 2 months ago, I started getting the pain again. And I've said to people, kidney stone pain is like, once you've had it, it's like the smell of baking bread. You smell baking bread once. 3 years later, you walk into a house that someone's baking a loaf of bread, you know exactly what it is. You have kidney stone pain once, 3 years later, 20 years later, you get it again, and you're like, damn, I know what that is. So I had it, then the pain went away, then it came back, then it went away, and now I started to worry. Maybe it wasn't kidney stone pain. Went to the doctor, I had an ultrasound. Yes, I had a kidney stone. It was in my ureter. So here's just by way of demonstration. You have two kidneys, like this. And this is the tube called the ureter tube that leads from the kidney down to the bladder. There's one bladder, both those ureter tubes go into. This particular kidney stone was like lodged in there, like this. And it wasn't moving. And my female urologist, who I adore, said, here's the deal. If it doesn't move in a couple weeks, we have to go get it. And I think I said that. Well, a couple weeks later, it hadn't gone. She said, we have to set the appointment. We set the appointment, and I'm hoping every single day that I start feeling pain, because that would mean it was on the move. And it didn't happen. I go to the hospital, have an hour and 30-minute procedure, completely under general anesthetic, to go in. I don't need to tell you where they went in. They didn't cut me open. They went in to remove this stone. They actually go in with that little tiny camera thing and whatever. They do a little lithotripsy blast, blew it apart, and I was fine for a second. But because of whatever that stone had done, or previous stones or whatever, they had to leave a stent in me, S-T-E-N-T, in that ureter tube to like keep it open, to help the flow of whatever, make everything fine for a week. This was explained to me in my doctor's office before I even had the surgery. And then she casually says, and then at the end of the week, we go in and we remove the stent. I said, what? She goes, we go in and we remove the stent. And I go, do I want to even ask how you do that? Max's hand is on his mouth. I go, do I even want to ask how you do that? She goes, well, we leave a piece of it hanging out. And I just stopped hearing anything. It was just like blood rushing through my ears. Hanging out, what? And she goes, she goes, look, it's about, literally, it's 2 minutes. It's very fast. I had trouble with this. I had no trouble dealing with the female urologist on that most sensitive of body parts. The surgery's nothing in my mind. But now, after the surgery, now I know I have 1 week until this appointment. Which, by the way, there will be no general anesthetic. It's just me and her and a pair of rubber gloves. So the day comes, and I have anxiety, and everybody's asking me about it. Hope you're going to be okay. When is it happening? And I said to people, I want you to stop asking this f***ing question. My mother-in-law, hope everything goes well. I love you. Thank you for asking. I don't want to talk about it. I'm having a problem with this. So now the day comes, last Thursday. I have to be there at 8 a.m. I go at 8 a.m. They call my name, Mr. Zion. I go in, a nurse takes me. She puts me into the little room. That's got a small exam table that's on an angle. Like a woman would see if she went in for like a pelvic exam. I looked at the table and I was like,
So it's like a table specially designed for this
Yeah.
type of procedure. Jesus.
So when I'm lying on it, all my junk is like right there at like eye level or whatever. Wherever it needs to be. If you could see Max.
You can see me.
So she goes, here's what I'm going to have you do. I'm going to have you put on this gown. I had like a long sleeve t-shirt on. You can leave your t-shirt on. That was the only bright spot in the entire day. You can leave the t-shirt on. Remove everything from the waist. I'll come back in a minute. When I do, I will put some lidocaine, I think she said, like a numbing solution on your penis.
God. You had to say penis.
It was her word, man. What is she going to say, dick?
I don't know. Yeah.
I'll be back in 5 minutes to put some lidocaine on your dick. No, she's not going to say that. They have to use the medical terminology.
All right. On your wiener.
On your wiener. I will be back in 5 minutes to put the, I think it was lidocaine. I don't know. I might have that wrong. A lot's a blur. And then a few minutes after that, doctor will come in. I go, okay. She comes in. I have the gown. I'm on this table. She steps on a foot pedal, and the table goes zzz. So now all my shit is even closer
No way.
to them, right?
You're like on a platform.
I'm
in
on
the
a
middle of
platform.
room.
Remember like fucking Frankenstein in the movie?
Yeah.
It's alive! It raises up so it can get the electricity. That's me with this nurse. She pulls back the gown. I'm fully exposed. Not that there was anything there, because whatever I had, I'm telling you, went away. I don't know where it went, but it went away. So now she gets this gloves on. You know, they snap when they go on. And then I get a lidocaine handy. I don't even know whatever. I told a friend of mine, he goes, "What did it feel like?" I go, "Dude, I was so disconnected from my body at that moment. I have no freaking idea." So she finishes. I don't finish. She finishes with that. And she puts these little blue like sheet things, antiseptic. She's like, "So when I've done this, you can't have your hands near there." I go, "What am I going to do? What am I going to do?" And so she covers me all up, and then away goes the doctor. Away she goes until the doctor comes in. 5 minutes later, and watch the doctor. To be quick. And the nurse goes, "You're probably not going to want to watch." I go, "What do you mean, watch? Watch?" She goes, "There's a screen that the doctor uses to..." I go, no. There's no chance of me watching anything. If I could take my penis and leave it here on the table and go away for 15 minutes, I would do that. What do I want to watch? What are you, nuts? Doctor comes in. She's getting her thing. And I made the mistake of looking at what was in her hand. I went, "Oh, no," and I turned away. Oh, she goes, "Oh, this isn't the whatever, what I'm using." I go, "Good." She goes, this has more numbing stuff in it. That first, I will put around the outside of your penis, and then some inside.
Mr. Cooking Guy.
Oh, I forgot. Yes. Jesus Christ. Okay, the nurse does the hand thing, the cream, and goes away. She comes back in a couple minutes later without the doctor yet. She goes, "Doctor might just is held up for a second." But she comes in, she goes, "Now I know who you are." I go, "Oh, no. Did you have to say that?" I go, and I looked at her and I go, "And now you know me way more intimately than most people do." Nobody knows me that well except my wife. So the doctor, I see something in her hand, and she goes, no, this is not that. This is more numbing stuff that I will now put on the outside of your penis." I've now heard the word penis like 17 times in like 5 minutes. And then she goes, "Then I'll put some inside." I go, "Is that going to hurt?" She goes, "You'll feel a little pressure." By the way, when a doctor says you're going to feel pressure, that means, yeah, it's going to hurt. So she does that. By the way, on a pain scale, that little insertion of that little plastic tip to add some more numbing solution, on a scale of 1 to 10 was a 2 compared to what was coming. She leaves it for a minute. She talks. She goes, "So here's what we will do." She goes, "I will now take..." I didn't look. This. I go, "Pain?" She goes, "Look, there's definitely going to be pressure. If you listen to me, to my directions." I go, "What are your directions?" She goes, "I'm going to tell you how to breathe." She goes, "Have you done yoga?" I go, "Yes." She goes, "You know that long out breath that you take?" I go, "Yeah." She goes, "You're going to want to do that, but about 25 times more forceful." And when I say wiggle your toes, wiggle your toes. I go, "Wiggle my toes? how is that going to help? She goes, trust me, it's going to help. I go, okay. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, if anybody is still listening, what is going on in my head at that moment is about as bad as it gets. And, oh, I have a picture coming, by the way. And she goes, okay, you're going to feel some pressure. And I go from nothing to like here in pain. And it might have been like 3 seconds, but it was so bad. I couldn't believe it. And she says, now the breathing. I'm like, a woman is having a baby. They're doing that. I'm just like, it's one long, like a train. I mean, my hands are like this on my face. I'm covering my ears, and I don't know why not hearing anything is going to make me feel better, but I'm covering, I'm breathing out, and then that pain hits a second time, and that's the one that almost takes me over the top, and about 10, 12 seconds after that, it's done. It's out, and she says, it's out. I'm like, I honestly, I cannot believe it. And I say, did I just pee all over everything? She goes, no. I mean, she goes, there's water associated with this to help to make the whole process more fluid. She goes, maybe that's what you were feeling. I go, oh, maybe that's what I was feeling. And then I say, can I see what you took out? In my mind, this is what a stent was. A stent opens a wall of an artery for a heart thing. And I can't imagine in my mind it was any different than this. So I'm thinking it's like this. It's like that. I'm thinking, not this big, but it's like an H, but the crossbar is on an angle like a spring holding it open. So it goes in small and then opens up to let things flow through. How do I want to show this picture? Should I send you the picture?
Yeah, just you can. I can pop it up on the screen right now.
Okay, so hold on. Let me show you, because you need to see this. I need you to see this. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Oh, God. Oh, there it is. Okay. You come over here? Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Now, she's holding in her hand for scale.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you when they see it. Ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Wait. This came out of me. Out of you know where. 1, 2, 3.
No.
Yeah. No, come back.
No.
Come back and look.
No.
It goes from there to there.
No.
You can see my
No.
foot with my bad toe. Look at that. But it's not even the fact that it's that long. It's thicker than I thought. But what are these curly Q ends?
I don't know.
So this say from the top to about half to 3/4 of the way down was in the tube, and then they leave about this much sticking in my bladder. So they go up my penis, which now I'm very comfortable saying, into my bladder, grab that curly Q end, and out it comes until it goes that.
Thank you for the sound effect.
You're welcome. That's it. Be curious to know how many subscribers we lost.
I think there's probably going to be a lot of people, a lot of dudes out there who watch us and have been in a similar situation. So,
if anybody's had that done, look, I'm a Howard Stern fan, and I remember Gary Delabate, the Howard Stern show producer, talking one day on the air about having to have something inserted into his penis. Look how it just tumbles off the tongue. Penis.
it's the penis cast.
And hearing about it, and everybody in the studio, you knew they were grabbing their junk.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a horrifying thought. I had built this up so bad in my mind that I don't think I could have made it worse. It was as bad as it gets.
That was your personal Vietnam.
That was my I can't use Vietnam because nothing even could compare. That was I don't know what that was. That was just my most traumatic, That was my most traumatic moment ever. I don't know. I just don't even, I can't even get my head around it. Still. I think talking about it actually helped. Okay, so there you go. We've ended beautifully. We've ended on not even a high note. We've ended on a low note. The birds are chirping because they feel sorry for me. So here's the point. Let us know the kinds of things you want us to talk about. We'll answer questions. We'll take calls. I got this off my chest. I got this off my penis. I don't have to talk about it anymore. We've talked about Memorial Day. Let us know what you end up making. I hope it's fun for you. We'll be back with a brand new ep on Wednesday, and blah, 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 blah. That's it. If you think you're going to be in Tokyo anywhere between July 23rd and the 28th, let us know. We will hang out. We'll buy you a sake or a beer.
That actually is a good idea. We could figure out maybe like a Sam the Cooking Guy meetup in Japan. I'll do some research.
I was there 2 months ago, and I ran into a Cooking Guy fan from Spain in Japan. So it's likely. I don't know how many people in Japan watch, but it would be, honestly, be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's it. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Go check out all of our merch.
Go check out all the merch and make something good, okay?
And also go check out the Sam the Cooking Guy subreddit. Submit your recipes
Yeah.
and stuff there.
Yeah,
It's an awesome
yeah.
little community.
It's fun.
developing.
It's really
It's
fun.
great.
And drink lots of water. Apparently that helps with kidney stones. We should always be drinking lots of water, folks. All right, see you.